The CEO is losing capacity, leaving the company in a leaderless, rudderless state.
Under UK company law, a director will remain as a director even though they have lost capacity. That director can still bind the company.
The Bartlett duty is an obligation on trustees to supervise the administration of companies in which they have an interest.
If you have a single director that loses capacity and can't act, the company is in stasis. And the process for getting out of that can be quite complicated.
The Bartlett duty could be engaged because if the trustee just allows the situation to continue with the company drifting, it could be said that the trustees failed in its duty to steward the company.
Anti-Bartlett clauses can cover a range of different obligations. There is an irreducible core of obligations which a trustee must have to fulfil in order for the property still to be properly analysed as being held on trust. DBS is a case of a trust where obligations of the trustee were excluded really right up to the limit.
In our view, using shareholder rights to remove a director where there's very clear incapacity shouldn't be in breach of the anti-Bartlett provisions and shouldn't involve the trustees in the running of the company. It's simply about making sure the company can function by appointing a new board, new directors to step into the shoes of the director with capacity issues and running the company.
Where you have the trustees owning a very large shareholding in a private company, then you have issues in relation to information. And this isn't just a question of the underlying company being unhelpful, it's also because of the varying levels of information provided to directors as a matter of law and are provided to shareholders as a matter of law. If the trustee doesn't appoint a director, then there may well be a whole class of information which it won't be entitled to. Button Kelson suggests that it's a sensible thing for a director to be appointed by a controlling shareholder or by someone that has a large shareholding in the underlying company. It might be a completely permissible view for the trustee to take that the settlor was the fount of the wealth in the first place. Removing him from his post is moving into uncharted territory. You can clearly see that there's going to be some inertia on the part of most trustees.
In practical terms, using the basic provision in model articles to remove a director who's lost capacity is very difficult because you need to get a medical opinion from that person's doctor or from a doctor that they have lost capacity, and that then needs to be sufficient so you're comfortable to use that to remove them as a director.
If they were to ask settlor to take a medical test, the settlor, one would imagine, would be very unlikely to agree to it. So it's going to be a question of careful choreography for the trustees to move from a position where they sense or know that there's something wrong to being able to act.
So given these potential difficulties, I think there are a number of ways that the risk can be countered. Firstly, don't have a sole director. Put in place good governance at board level, have a number of directors doing different things. They will be able to give instructions to third parties, and they will be able to find and access information in relation to the company if one or the dominant board member ceases to have capacity.
In circumstances where it's decided that the settlor should be removed, then the question is who should replace them? The obligation is to get the best appropriate person. However, there are two angles. The continuation of the control of the family may be the sensible thing to do. And secondly, it may be that the actual purpose of the trust is really the continuation of the control exerted by the family over the underlying asset. There is a difference between the approach which private equity houses take to managing their investments and the approach which trustees can and should take. Private equity houses are normally focused on the internal rate of return of their investments, and so they will normally want to get a large amount of money out of the business quickly. By contrast, what trustees are normally charged with doing is retaining the asset for future generations, ensuring that it is no less valuable than it was when they first had it.